Welcome to the Word of Truth. This is Teacher D.H. Boone. Today's message is called Don't Waste Your Time. As we all know, that time does not wait on no one. Time is precious, and time we can't get back. That's why it's very important for us to watch how we spend our time and make sure that we spend our time wisely. Yes, it's okay to have some type of entertainment and pleasure in our life, but our pleasures is not supposed to outweigh our investments and our donations in our time that will bring us a return, something tangible, something that we could see and we could look at and say, hey, I invested wisely in my time during this time because this is what I got to show for. See, a lot of times people, they make excuses for not to do certain things because of fear. Fear paralyzes people because the enemy like to put fear in people because he don't want nobody to move forward. But you have to realize that this is your life and you don't want to spend your days, not fulfilling your dreams, not investing in your own life, not investing in your children's life, not doing something where you could see and you could say, hey, this shows from the time and the effort that I put into my life. You want to leave, you want to spend time and invest in your time where it will show up later. You know what I'm saying? That you will still see it and you will see this and you will say, hey, I remember when I started doing this. I remember, and it will just bring, memories back to you. Not only would you have a memory, but you will have something tangible to show for it. And it will take you back to that time, even when it was blood, sweat, and tears, that you say, hey, it took me a minute. You know what? I had to work hard. It was painful. It was times I wanted to give up, but you kept going. See, those are the things that you would like to look at and things that you like to remember, things that you could hold into your hands, things that you could see, and say, that's from the time. But it is also people look back over their life and they see that they have wasted time. They don't have nothing to show for their time. They have wasted, they have sat there and they did not utilize their time wisely. They did not invest. And see, a lot of times people, they feel that when they get to a certain age that it's too late for them to do a certain thing. But see, you know what? God, he wore many different hats. God say, I am that I am, because he is so many different things to us and to everyone. He is not just limited to one thing. So when a person feels that when they can't do one thing, they feel that life is over, but it's not. You could do other things. You have a lot of talents. It's some people have so many hidden talents that they do not let them come to fruition. It's because they are concerned about that one thing that they didn't fulfill at a certain time in their life. No, we can't get that time back. And some things we can't do, because of, a certain time. But if you still alive and you still have your senses and your mobility, you still have all your limbs and everything, then it's something that you could do. See, a lot of times people, they don't want to use their times wisely and invest. It's because of one certain thing that they wasn't able to do. But you have to realize you have so many different talents, and you could go within yourself and say, hey, okay, that time may have passed me and I can't get that time back. But here I am today. What can I do today? How can I spend my time today? I can't spend my time crying about what I didn't do last week, last month, last year, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. But you do have today. Stop crying about the time that you can't get back. See, a lot of times people fall into a depression. It's because they have wasted time, but they can't go back to that time. So what they need to do is say, you know what? I'm crying about something I can't do nothing about. I can't get that time back. I can't go back to that time. But I have time now, so I can make a better decision with my time today than I made before. And see, a lot of times it goes with maturity, because some people, when they're young, some people invest right. Some people go to college. Some people get a degree. But college is not for everyone. And some people just try to do it. It's because everybody else is doing it. But everybody have different callings and different goals and different dreams in their life. Everybody is not meant to go to college. Everybody is not meant to be a manager. Everybody is not meant to be certain things. Everybody have different gifts, and you have to find what fits you. You don't have to do things that other people expect you to do, and you don't have to do things that everybody else is doing. You do things that's what's deep in your heart, so you could be fulfilled. Usually when people do things that they really like, they will keep going. They will keep going. They will keep pushing. They will persevere even with obstacles. They will realize that, hey, you know what? The time I'm spending on this is well invested because I like it. And I know when I get done with it, the time that I spent on this is going to speak for itself, because I am going to have a result. I am going to see the result and something tangible from the time that I spent. Even if you invest in your children, when you see your children grow and they prosper and they make something of themselves, you will still see something tangible, because you will see your children. You will see how they will grow and they will succeed. Make sure that you invest your time wisely. Make sure you donate into your time. We see how other people, some people donate clothes, and people donate their time. They donate, food. They may donate money, but you have to donate work in your own time. It's good to donate to other people, and to invest in other things and other people, but you got to invest in and donate into yourself. Yes, you got to make yourself better, because you have to remember that time don't wait on nobody. If we all look over our life, we could see at certain times when we say, okay, we wish we had a did this, we wish we had a did that, but that time is gone. We can't do nothing about that. We can't get that back, but you can do something about today. Don't waste your time today. Learn from your mistakes. All you have to do is sit down and have a talk with yourself, and make sure you search your heart and you ask yourself, what is it that you really, really, really want to do? And then you take it from there. You do some research and see how you could get started in that thing that you want to do. Don't waste no more time. Don't cry about what didn't happen years ago or what happened before, because you can't get that time back. Okay, we know that time didn't wait on you. The time don't wait on nobody. So now that you have this information today, and you know that today, you know that you cannot waste time today. We know that time is precious, and we know that, hey, I look at my grandchildren, I look at my children, I'm like, where did time go? Time seems like it's going so fast. And we know that God's timing is different than ours, because he said a day is like 1,000 years to him, so it's like we haven't even used a full day on God's timetable. So we have not lived a full day. So that's what you must realize, that, hey, do something today. Search your own heart. Stop listening to outside voices, and outside outside advice. You know what I'm saying? You have to, and outside opinions. You know what I'm saying? You have to search your own heart. You have to do what makes you happy. Because if you're doing something that makes somebody else happy, you are not going to be totally fulfilled. And then you are not going to finish it. Because most of the time when people doing something that they don't want to do and they don't like to do, they won't fulfill, they won't pursue it, they won't persevere. They will look for any excuse not to do it. And they will always make an excuse, excuse me, why they not doing it, why they didn't pursue it. So now you have to tell yourself, I can't waste time. Yes, it's okay for me to have some pleasure, but when you're doing things that's not will give you a return, it will just give you pleasure, you could have to ask yourself, what could you have done in place of that time? Sometimes you have to cut your pleasure short. And you know, it's sometimes people, they spend money and they waste money on pleasure, you know. It's just a mental memory, but you want to have something that's physical too, and something that's tangible from your time that you invested and from what you donated. You see, God didn't waste his time. You see, he have all of us. He have the world to say, I remember back then. I remember when I created them. I remember when I created the earth. I remember when I created the animals. I remember when I raised him from the dead. I remember when I healed him. See, God didn't waste time, and we know Jesus didn't either. We see that everything Jesus did, he never wasted time. He could look back at any moment of his time, and we see that he never wasted time. He took his time. He felt that his time was precious, and he said that, hey, when I look back over my life, one thing I can say is I have things to show for how I invested my time. I didn't waste my time. I didn't use my time unwisely. And we know, yes, Jesus rested, but he rested in a way from all his labor, you know. And he always went to the Father. He invested in us, and he invested in his relationship with God. He could see from his healing, from changing water into wine, unto feeding 5,000 with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, to making the blind see, the lame walk, you know, the lady with the issue of blood, you know. Jesus just did so much healing, so much restoring, you know. He didn't waste his time. He made sure. See, though, you know, Paul said, when I was a child, I acted as a child. I did childish things, but when I became a man, I put childish things away. See, it come a time in your life that you got to put childish things away, and you got to start investing in your life. You want to see a return. You don't want to waste so much money. Then you look back over your life from your heart, from your hard work. You can't see nothing from what you worked hard. See, a lot of times greed get people too. It's stuff ain't enough, so they seek more and they lose more. But God say, if you be thankful for what you have and you invest the time and the effort and the money that you already have, God say, you know what? Just think about it. 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread fed 5,000. Because Jesus, what did he do? He gave thanks to what he already had, and he held it up to God, and he gave thanks, and God multiplied. If you are thankful for what you already have and not be greedy and not try to seek more and work with what you already have, you know, the time that you already have and the resources you already have, God say, I will multiply what you already have. Jesus is a great example. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your resources. We see that Jesus, he didn't waste that 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. He said, you know what, God, I need to feed these 5,000 people because they are hungry. Father, this is what we have, and this come from a little last lunch. So Lord, this is what I have. Lord, multiply this. I'm lifting it up to you, Lord. You know, I give thanks to what I already have. That's the person, that is what people problem is. They don't be thankful for what they already have. And when you're not thankful for what you already have, you will always seek more and more till it's never enough. And then you end up wasting what you already have. God say, be thankful for what you have. Be thankful for the time that you already have. If you're thankful for the time that you have each and every day, and you wake up each and every day, you will use that time wisely. You wouldn't waste it. You would say, hey, Father, lead and guide me of what to do. You will search your heart and you will find something that you could do with your time, something how you can invest it, how you can donate into your own time, into your own life, how you can invest into your time, into your own life, into your family, into your children. But until you are happy within yourself, you cannot successfully bring happiness to someone else. Because see, each person is responsible for their own happiness. A lot of times people say, oh, you know what, they made me sad, or you know what, they didn't make me happy. You can't look for anything outside of yourself to make you happy. Happy comes from within. And when you are happy with who you are and how God created you and the talents and ability that he did give you, then you will use them wisely. You have so many talents, so you can't get caught on one thing. Okay, something didn't happen. Something didn't go the way you wanted it to. You might have wasted some times. You might have wasted some opportunities, but that's not the only time and the only opportunity. Time keep going. That's why it didn't stop there. Time don't wait on nobody, but time keep going. And so now you have time to make different choices. You have time to invest your time wisely and to invest your resources and your money wisely. Whatever you have, be thankful. If you be thankful to God and bring glory to God for what you already have, God say, I can multiply it. Just like I did those 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, I could make it go far. I could stretch it. And see, what we need to do is we need to keep our eyes and mind off of what other people are doing. A lot of times people are so worried about what somebody else doing and what somebody else have, that they don't have the energy and the vision for what's going on in their own life. You don't have time to worry about what somebody else doing. A lot of times you don't hear from people, you know, and then some people that you don't hear from, you might not really hear nothing else about them. But it's a lot of people that when you slack off hearing from them, then when you do hear from them, they've been doing something behind the scene. They've been investing their times wisely. They've been investing their resources wisely. They haven't been wasting time. They said, you know what, I don't have time to socialize right now. You know, it was a time I did this and a time I did that. But it comes a time when you're going to have to buckle down and you're going to have to discipline yourself, and you have to realize it's time to stop wasting time. It's time you can start from here. Stop crying about back then. Stop crying about what you should have did. You know, as we grow, it comes with maturity, and we learn lessons, and we learn from them lessons. And when we learn, we apply what we learned into our life. So now you have the opportunity not to waste your time. You know, it's always new beginnings. You know, if you see like a lot of rappers, you know, they just not rappers, but they entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? They invest in companies. They do different things. They act. They say, hey, I'm just not this. And some people, they might have made some records. Then if you notice, they stopped making records because they didn't limit themselves. They didn't put themselves in the box and say, I could just rap. No, they say I could act, I could make cologne, or I could make perfume. Okay, I could own companies. I could be an entrepreneur. You know, I could invest. I could invest in my children. I could invest in a community, you know. And we see that A lot of people, some people have invested what they made into other people, and then they could see it. You know what I'm saying? You know, some people have built schools for other people, and they could see. They say, hey, you know what? I remember when I did that. It took a lot of work, but I could see my investment. I could see that it wasn't time wasted. And that's what you want. You just don't want just a memory of what you did. Like, we all could take vacations. We all could do pleasure. We all could, you know, go to our families and, you know, have pleasure, have a good time. You know, we all could do that. We could go and visit people. You know, we could go to the mall. We could go to our arcade. We could do different things. But you know what? Our pleasure should never outweigh the investment that and the donation that we need to make a difference. And so we could see the result, a tangible result, not just a memory, you know, because see, one thing about it, when you're having fun for that moment. But after you leave that fun, you'll remember it. And you might have a mental picture, but you won't have nothing tangible. You see what I'm saying? You know, it's a time when we can have fun, but it's a time when you have to say, okay, you know, see, it's a lot of people say, okay, they could go on and have fun. They could go on and do this and do that while they doing this. I'm investing my time wisely. Just like, you know, it's not too old to, I mean, you're not too old to try to open up a company or be an entrepreneur or go back to school. Shoot, I'm 57 years old. I'll be 58. Yes, and I've been taking different classes, getting different certifications and doing different this, working and, you know, my ministry. You know, I'm just not one person. I'm not going to contain myself to one thing. God gave me different gifts. And what the gift that he gave somebody else and the ability is not the same gift that he gave me. I search my heart to do what it is I want to do. And that's why you can't let everybody know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and why you're doing it, because some people will talk you out of it. Some people don't want to move ahead, so they don't want you to move ahead. Misery loves company. So now is the time for you to realize you're never too old to go within yourself and pour out those dreams and those goals and those things that you really want to do. Do some research and see how you could get started. If you want to own your own company, do some research. You know what I'm saying? This is the time now. Don't waste no more time. You can't do nothing about the past time because that time is gone. It didn't wait for you, so stop crying about it. This is a new day. So what can you do today? Praise the Lord. Stop letting the past rob you of your future time. People let the past time that they couldn't stop it and it didn't wait for them. They let that rob them of the time today. Stop letting the past time that's gone rob you of time today. Now today is a new day. Now, I'm going to challenge you. Why don't you go within yourself and you write down 5 things that you really want to do? Start with the most important thing that you want to do, you know? And then you start from the top and see. And all you got to do is do some research because it can happen. God said with God, all things are possible, you know. With God, all things are possible. Remember, God will bless you outside of society because God wants the glory. See, a lot of times man will try to come in there and try to do this and try to do that because they want the glory. But God will bless you when you will know and everybody will know that it was God that blessed you. He will get the glory. So start out with 5 things that you really want to do, starting with the one that's very important, that's really dear to you. And do some research and make sure you don't stop until you are able to take that first step into making it happen. And the first step is doing some research and finding out how you could get started. and what you need. God will make a way out of no way. God say he will supply your every need. He said, be anxious for nothing but in prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be made known. He said, and the God of peace who surpass all understanding will guard your heart and mind by Christ Jesus. So don't be anxious for nothing. Just trust God. God say, if you need something, all you got to do is ask and you shall receive. He said, knock and the door shall be open unto you. He said, seek and you shall find. Ask and it shall be given unto you. All you got to do, seek, knock, and ask. That's all you got to do. And remember, you can do all things through Christ which strengthens you. Just because things get hard and get challenging don't mean that you should give up. It means that you should persevere. The enemy always wants you to give up. He wants you to give up. He don't want you to make it. He don't want you to succeed. He wants you to think that life is over, but it's not. It's never too late until God says it's too late. If God said it was too late, then it's too late. So it's not too late. If God didn't tell you it was too late, then it's not too late. Now stop wasting your time. Your time is precious. So stop wasting your time. Until next time, may the peace of God be with you.